With McGregor having no professional boxing bouts on his record, how truly competitive can this fight be?
It can be very competitive. You never take, anytime you step up in a boxing ring, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. One thing we do know about Conor McGregor that, we're very aware of is that when he hits people, they fall out.
What would you tell people who say, this is a money grab, this is a joke, I'm not spending my money on it?
Well, I would tell them is that we've been in this boxing game for a very long time, and I've seen things happen that aren't supposed to happen. And in Floyd's case, we know that he's been the best at what he's been doing for a very long time. He's been off for a while. He's been off for 2 years. And the fact that Conor McGregor, he brings something a little different to the table.
You think maybe he'll come in wild, kind of throwing haymakers? What would be unexpected that you're talking about?
Well, yes, and obviously we that's why you have to always be prepared for anything. We fought a guy who's the style you're talking about with the wild haymakers, Marcus Madonna.
Mm-hmm. 2 fights.
Yeah, and he's slower than Conor McGregor. And he was able to catch Floyd with a shot, and Floyd got buzzed, in one of the rounds. And anything can happen. So, Floyd is preparing very hard, like he always does, and we're expecting him to go in there and do his thing.
How much do you expect the price of the pay-per-view to be for this?
I don't know. We haven't gotten to that part yet, because we just wanted to get the fight up and announced. And we'll go through those details and get them to you very shortly.
100 was the price for Mayweather Pacquiao for the HD version, correct?
Yes, it was.
So you expecting something similar to that?
We hadn't had one discussion about it yet. To be
Okay.
totally honest, we haven't.
What about when do tickets go on sale? Do you know, or price range?
We haven't had a discussion about that, but we're because we just got the fight up and announced. We're working very hard to get those details to the public very quickly.
When can we expect to see these two in a press conference together?
Working on that also too. And we're expecting something very, very big when we do it.
With McGregor's elevated level of trash talk, do you think Floyd may follow suit? We might see a throwback Floyd to when he was fighting Oscar and talking trash in that kind of era a decade ago.
Well, I think that those kind of things just happen naturally. One guy's not going to let another guy talk trash. But one thing I do know about McGregor is that what he's been able to do thus far, he talks the trash and he's been able to back it up. But he's going up against someone who can do it much better than he can. And we'll see what happens.
Since Floyd retired 2 years ago, has he really ever stopped training?
Floyd hasn't done one thing in 2 years. But he has a yacht. He has 2 planes, he travels, hangs out, spends plenty of time with his kids, traveling all over the world. That's what Floyd Mayweather's been doing the last 2 years. He hasn't been nowhere near a gym in the last 2 years until recently.
Okay, because he does post pictures of himself working out.
Just recently.
Just recently.
Yeah.
How long ago would you say?
Over the last couple of months. I mean, he's been in the gym, I think, 2 or 3 times.
What kind of physical shape is he in?
He's always in good physical shape because he doesn't and has never done anything to abuse his body. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. So, he's always in great physical condition, but it's a difference with being off. You kind of lose timing, and let's face it, he's 40 years old at this point.
There isn't a rematch clause for this, correct?
No, not at all.
So then what comes after for Floyd, a return to boxing?
We hadn't had a discussion about that. This is the fight that the fans demanded, and this is what we're going to give them. The fans have been talking about this fight. Any and everywhere I go, anywhere Dana goes, Conor, Floyd, that's all they talk about. It's all they talk about everywhere we go. The fans that we run into from all different walks of life, because when you're traveling all over the world, and me taking care of business, it never amazes me, and that's why this has a different kind of feel for it. Even when we made the Pacquiao fight, this never happened that much. People were asking about the Pacquiao fight, you know, mostly boxing fans, but, you know, I was in the grocery store last night, and there was a middle-aged young lady. She comes up to me, and she says, "I recognize your face." And she was like, "Is Floyd gonna fight that boy, Conor McGregor?"
Is there a rehydration clause for this fight? Because weight cutting and rehydrating, it's a much bigger issue within MMA than it is in boxing. So is there a concern that he might gain 20 pounds overnight?
No, not at all. Floyd's used to fighting bigger guys. Actually, throughout most of his career, especially the latter part of his career, definitely the pay-per-view fights, everybody he stepped in the ring with has outweighed him by a minimal of, on fight night, 20 pounds. You know, so we expect nothing, no different. Conor's very awkward. He's very awkward. So, you know, it's going to take a minute to get adjusted to that, and especially with Floyd being off for 2 years, and him, you know, he with him being a southpaw, he's a lot bigger than Floyd, you know, naturally. So Floyd's just got to watch him, because, like I said, you know, one thing about him that has impressed me is that he don't look like when he hits guys, he don't really look like he strikes them and he punches them that hard. So he must be pretty heavy-handed, because the reaction that you get is normal when he touches guys, you know. So
he says it's precision.
yeah, and that's what boxing comes down to, is timing and inches.
Thank you so much, Leonard Ellerbe, for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Amber.